you go to the property?
Look your best, everybody.
I was there yesterday.
Good, it's on you.
Everybody meet Angela?
We are currently live.
For those who don't know me, I'm the tax administrator here.
Oh,
Here to moderate your comments.
I don't know anything yet.
oh, the person I owe lots of money to, huh?
Fine.
You didn't cash my check yet.
Yours just went in
Yeah,
recently,
yeah,
it
just
did.
went through.
It did. I'm trying to put them in quick, believe me. I'm not Vic, I don't sit on them.
Yeah, we'll start right about 6 o'clock.
I can take that for you. Katie's still doing payroll, but I'll let her know.
Okay,
So there'll be some questions. Angela will moderate the questions if there are some.
Would you do the honors?
You guys are live.
I see. I can see it this time. I don't know if it'll go away while we're doing it.
Tear 'em up, Don. Where's your mask at?
They're down there.
I was
There's-
wondering what would happen if I put one on it. You probably wouldn't hear us, huh?
we
I
might
could,
be-
I could try if you want. I
We
mean,
might
I-
be muffled.
These are, we've been making masks, did 140 so far.
That's nice.
And they're going to, University Hospital out in
South Point?
South Point. So we've been making us busy. It's their design that they had. It's got a little pocket and so more protection.
Is my cell phone in there?
No,
I don't know. What's the password?
Call it up.
He just want to be on camera,
Yeah, he just wanted to be on.
so they can say he was here.
okay, I see the first comment, thanks.
My PC says 6 o'clock. Is that all right?
Yep, I'm good.
Well, let's get the meeting started. How's that? This meeting of the Walton Hills Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order. Today is April 23rd, and the time is 6 p.m. I'd like to thank the mayor, Don Colligraph, for his efforts to utilize YouTube for the generation of this hearing electronically this evening. Additionally, because of COVID-19 legislation, the Open Meeting Act for the state of Ohio that Governor DeWine signed on March 27th, amending the House Bill 197, relates to the conduct of the meetings and the hearings during the period of COVID-19. The enactment provides that during its effective period, the members of public bodies may hold and attend meetings and conduct meetings by means of teleconferencing or video conferencing or any other similar electronic technology. This gives a person the right to present written oral testimony on this matter. It also gives a public body attending via teleconference the ability to speak. Tonight, this hearing is for Christopher Chubbuck, the contractor for property owners John and Carol Motzel. The property is located at 18578 Orchard Hill Drive in Walton Hills. And Chris is asking for a variance to construct a ranch home on the property and is appealing the Village Codified Ordinance 126605, subsection A, subsection 1, minimum floor area requirements for a single-family dwelling. There's two things that took place before this meeting, before we have this hearing. Is last week the administration sent out a letter to the residents in the area around Orchard Park Drive where the property's at, announcing that this hearing, and requested anybody to send an email or to leave a voicemail with me with any comments regarding the subject matter of this meeting, which we'll read shortly. And also this week, the administration, sent out a second letter notifying the residents in the Orchard Hill Drive area of concern that they could attend this hearing via YouTube, and to date, we received one comment. Mr. Chubbuck, we have a full board present this evening, so we have a full body. And I'd like to ask Mr. Secretary if he could please review the data for this hearing.
This hearing pertains to the appeal of Chris Chubbuck, the contractor to build a house for John and Carol Motil, 57 Heights Drive, Northfield, Ohio, owners of permanent parcel 794-22024. This parcel is vacant land and will have a street address of 18578 Orchard Hill Drive, Walton Hills, Ohio. A building permit application was not included with the data provided to the ZBA. A hearing application dated February 6, 2020 to the Board of Zoning Appeals was stamped as being received on March 10, 2020 by the Village of Walton Hills. Decision being appealed, size of ranch house being proposed to be built is currently 1,700 square feet. Village requires 2,100 square feet. House is 400 square feet shy of current zoning. Documentation included was a hand-drawn proposed structure placement on the lot. This drawing was stamped as being received by the Village of Walton Hills on March 2nd, 2020. The document was stamped as not approved on March 4th, 2020. Reason for denial: did not comply with codified ordinance 126605, single-family dwelling requirements. Specifically, 126605A1 required the minimum floor areas for single-family detached dwellings in R1 Country Home District for a one-floor structure is 2,100 square feet. Notification of the April 1st hearing was mailed to 11 residents on March 13th, 2020. Due to the COVID-19 stay-at-home order, residents were notified on March 25th, 2020 that the public hearing was being rescheduled. In an undated letter, John J. Montello, Law Director, notified residents on procedure implemented for residents to present any objections or concerns. On-site inspection was conducted by Mr. Owens on 4/22/2020, Ms. Workman on 4/21/2020, Mr. Rich on 4/19/2020, Mr. Pollock on 4/19/2020, Mr. Johansson on 4/2/2020.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, would you please read the ordinance in question?
(126605) single-family dwelling requirements. A, minimum floor area requirements for single-family detached dwellings for the R1 Country Home District. A1 is one floor, 2,100 square feet.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Chubbuck, the next part of the meeting is where we have people testify, so I'd like to read a brief summary here. Persons wishing to testify will sign their name, address, and phone number on the witness list. And then from there, on the witness list, Ms. Workman will swear you in with the testimonial oath.
You want to raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony given or statements made at this hearing are to the best of your knowledge, truthful and factual, so help you God?
Yes.
Great. Yes.
So the next portion of the meeting is persons who are going to testify, they're going to identify themselves by their name, their address, and anyone else after Mr. Chubbuck speaks would be via YouTube.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chubbuck, would you please let us know why you would like this variance?
Yes, I'm here to represent John and Carol Motel. They're a retired couple, and we're looking to build a ranch home on Orchard Hill Drive. We have it designed at 1,700 square feet. It's 3-bedroom. It's a very nice home. They obviously have a retired, excuse me, they're retired, and their budget won't really solidify for a 2,100 square foot ranch, which is a good size home. And on Orchard Hill, I looked at all the square footage of the existing homes. We're going anywhere from 1,200 to 1,800, somewhere around there. So the 1,700 square foot would be a very nice home on Orchard Hill Drive. It'd be a 3-car garage as well. So I'm hoping we could do something at the 1,700 square feet.
Thank you, Mr. Chubbuck. Do we have any proponents for the variance? They can speak via YouTube, or Mr. Pollock can read a brief email that we did receive from one of the residents on Orchard.
Start with the email.
Okay, this is an email received from Terry Lindman, 18476 Orchard Hill Drive, which is from the property, the second home on the south side heading west. Used to be my in-laws' home, so I know it well.
Oh, good.
Okay. And he says, hello, I think the address on the letter is incorrect, and we don't need any more huge houses. The smaller size is fine with us. Thanks, Terry and Philip Lindman, 18476 Orchard Hill Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. At this time, do we have any proponents or opponents?
We don't have anything yet from YouTube. They're on about a 30-second delay from us, but
Okay.
I don't have anything yet.
All right. We'll just wait a couple seconds, and then we'll get into the next round, which is questions from the board.
Okay. Should I stand? Seat? Should I stay stand?
You can sit down.
Whatever you
Yeah,
want.
be comfortable. Yeah.
I just want to say 1,700 square feet is a good size range. It's not small by any means. You know, 3 big bedrooms, big kitchen, it's a beautiful home. It'll fit in really nicely.
So, is there any questions from the boards?
Yes,
Mr. Pollock?
yes, I got several, okay? Chris, how many homes have you or your company built in Walton Hills?
In Walton Hills, honestly, this will be my first home.
First, okay. Are you familiar with the Walton Hills codified ordinances pertaining to construction of single-family housing?
What was online, I'm very familiar with that,
Okay.
yes, thank you.
Did you prepare the hand-drawn construction diagram indicating the proposed dimensions and location of this particular house? Or did someone else do it for you?
No, I did that, but the drawing was actually done by my designer, Mark
Okay.
Zaccardelli, with Blue Line Design.
Okay, who put the notation 1,700 square feet?
That would be myself.
So how about the dimensions of the house? It appears to be a rectangle. Who put those on?
I did myself.
Okay. Did you stake out or have someone else stake out the proposed location and dimensions of the property?
I did it myself, just for the
Okay.
time being.
And you put those down, and that's about where the house is going to be
Exactly.
sitting and everything else?
Mhm.
Okay, I guess my next question, how do you determine square footage for this to come up to 1,700 square feet?
Actually, I met with the homeowner, and we went over their budget and what they could spend. And they bought the lot maybe, well, they just closed on it, actually, not too long ago. So honestly, they probably could go up to 2,100 square feet, but it's gonna stretch their budget. So we designed a home that would fit at 1,700 square feet and would fit in the area, 3-bedroom ranch for their budget, so to speak.
The house that was a sample of the house, is that the type of house they're going to build?
Yes, that is the house.
That is the house?
That
Okay,
is.
here's my problem,
Sure.
okay?
Go ahead.
I was responsible for writing up the data and everything else. And I said to myself, okay, go ahead and do it, and I did it. And then that night, I couldn't sleep too well, okay? I said, something's not right.
Okay.
So I went over and I looked at the diagram again, and I says, okay, it looks like a nice house. I walked up that way a lot, and I says, I wonder what size the garage is. So I took your outside dimensions, the length times the width, which is what our code calls for.
Right.
And sir, I came up with 2,860 square feet
Total,
total.
yeah.
And then I went in and I says, okay, I subtracted 1,700 square feet for the garage.
Mhm.
The garage was 1,072 square feet. And I says, wait a minute,
That's not
something,
accurate, right?
something's wrong.
No.
So I went out and measured my garage.
Right.
And I got a big garage, and it's only 675 square feet, which is a big garage.
It's a big garage, yeah, it
So I
is.
said, something wrong. So I went out to the location that you
Staked.
state, okay?
Mm-hmm,
And I took measurements.
right.
And your measurements were quite accurate. I got 3 more feet, but I'm going to go by yours. Going by that, it's 65 by 44. That comes out to 2,860 square feet. The garage was 23 by 23.
Right,
That's 529.
plus a sidewalk.
You subtract that according to our code, and you get 2,331 square feet, or 233 square feet more than the 2,100 square feet required.
It is, that's what's staked out there right now. And
Yeah.
if I can explain, it was raining heavy that day, and the back left corner of the house jogs a couple times. So to keep it simple, I just made a big rectangle. So
Okay.
that's not the actual,
No, I don't have, but taking it down from 2,800 square feet to the 2,000, would be about 2,000 square feet is, you know, it doesn't give us of how it's going to lay. That's my problem.
if I'm following you, what's out there, the yellow tape.
Yeah,
It's
that's
pretty,
what-
it's
that's
pretty
what the hou-
accurate to what the house is gonna be,
Then it,
except for the back left corner,
yeah,
it jogs in, but I included it in the square footage, which I
How-
shouldn't have
how
done.
big is that?
I didn't know it was gonna be like.
How big is that jog? I can't tell by the drawing. Is that
Probably-
11?
Probably another 300-400 square feet, so that's the difference. So really, you should be measuring probably 2,200 square feet out there, but the house is gonna be 1,700 as opposed right now.
Well, that was one of the concerns I had too, because I have 3 sets of drawings, 3 different sets of sophistication in the drawings. I have the little handwritten one that's pretty simple, that comes up to lots of square footage, way
Right.
over the requirements. And then I have the picture of
That's it.
the Richmond.
Right.
But then I also was given an email with an attachment that had some more detailed drawings. With and that set of drawings has detail on it and doesn't match either of these drawings, because that drawing looks like it has a 3-car garage,
It does.
and it has a kick-out for one of the garages on the one side that's just a 1-car garage, and then
Right.
it has a kick-out on the left-hand side. And just being a little OCD myself, I like to take the square footage, the length times the width, and come up with the square footage myself. And unfortunately, the drawing that was attached to the email was so tiny
Hard to
that
read.
I could not read any of
Right.
the dimensions, which I think the board is responsible, or should at least feel a duty to do that themselves,
Mhm.
to make sure that we're, exactly what variance we're granting,
Right.
and what the house is going to look like. I mean, obviously, we have some leeway. Those houses in that area are smaller than the requirements that are current.
Right.
But we're kind of at this point, we don't know what we're really being asked.
Well, your garage doesn't
Count.
count towards your square
Correct,
footage, right?
correct.
And
Well,
it
but
is-
is it
and I have
this
the accurate
drawing with the
one.
garage, or is it this drawing with the garage? Because I have a 3-car and I have a A
Yeah,
two-car.
that was like, the first one on your right hand was just a
Model?
submit something, yeah, that Rob was saying, put
Okay.
something in or whatever, so it's not that. I have the actual plans right here, which is what we're looking to do. And I didn't know if I could submit that or whatever, but the back left corner where it jogged, you can see where it jogged, and I just went straight with the yellow tape. And again, I didn't know that the yellow tape would be, I would have went exactly each dimension if that's what we were looking to do. I would have done that.
At least if we had something in writing, we could understand the general.
But that's exactly what we're proposing to build, at 1,700 square feet.
This is exactly
Right there.
what we have, this is what we've emailed. This,
That's what you
But
should
I
have.
cannot
by
read
email.
that.
And I cannot read this either.
It's
Really.
small, I know
Yeah.
it's small, but I can definitely get you the whole.
That's where we're at, that's where we're grappling with the number.
I do have some comments when you're ready.
Could you blow it up?
Oh, can I blow them up? I don't know if I can blow them up, but I can read them for you. Robert
Everyone has this.
Robert Russell had said, I am in favor of the variance. The size proposed fits with the neighborhood. I'm the home with direct view of the new home and look forward to the new neighbors. And Maureen Stanley said, Terry Hyman, something came through Maureen Stanley, but it says it's Terry Hyman. I welcome the new neighbors. I live next door and think the house size is good.
Just a
you,
comment
Jeff.
on that. My wife and I take a lot of walks up that area, and the house would fit well into it. If you start at the most eastern end of Orchard Hill Drive and go down to the western end, there are only 4 homes that are 2-story. The rest are ranch.
Correct.
So it's going to fit very well in that. My concern was that I looked at the area that was laid out.
Right.
And I said, why are we here?
Right, it's
That-
bigger than the house.
It's,
It is.
it's bigger than a house,
Yes.
and now all of a sudden I said, well, okay, so we grant the variance, the next thing you know, the house is 10 foot from the road.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen, but yeah.
It wouldn't happen,
Right.
but we don't know. One of the requirements of us is you lay it out like it's supposed to be,
Well,
so
that's-
we could come out, take a look at it, and then we can make a determination, okay, does it change the composition of the neighborhood?
Right.
You know, is it going to look out of place? What is the house going to look like? Is it going to be something that's gaudy looking or something like this here? So,
It'd be a nice house, it
It-
will, I mean, it's something, yeah, once you see it, but I obviously, I've built 60 homes, I live in Macedonia. It's something that a surveyor would come out and actually stake the house, according to all the codified ordinances. It wouldn't fit too close to the street. There's a setback that you need to have for that, so it would be done according to all the codes, and it would be submitted properly, and it would be put in the right spot. I think our situation is with the yellow tape, I made it a little bit bigger, that's my fault, and I think, get past that, it might be all right.
Ms. Workman, you have a question?
Well, do we think, I mean, I don't have a paper copy of the ones with the measurements on it. I
Go
didn't
ahead.
see that handed out in any of the documents.
And I'd be happy to submit full-blown big ones to you, but my architect is closed, it's closed, I can't get any copies, and he, I could blow it up at like somewhere and get it for you tomorrow or something.
Well, when we look at these plans, it doesn't say 1,700 square feet first
Right.
floor. It says 1,624,
That is correct.
which is kind of threw me off. And I do see and hear you saying that 1,700 is the magic number.
Will be what we're submitting, yes.
Yes.
One that comes time for permit, we'll be submitting 1,700, right?
So where would the increase come from? Just a couple of rooms would get,
No, we're gonna actually add up 2 feet to the back of the kitchen and put a cantilever out the back, and it's actually probably more than 1,700 square feet, but it would be bigger kitchen, family room area out the back.
okay.
So we'd be adding at least 100 square feet to the house, minimum.
Okay. So you'll be submitting a plan of in
17,
excess of,
20, somewhere.
in excess of 1,700 square feet.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Isn't the lot undersized too?
No.
The lot
I'm not-
actually is less than the 40,000 square feet, but it is a buildable lot. It is a buildable lot.
I always thought lots had to be 40,000.
Yeah, 40,000, but in this particular case, it's 150 feet wide, and the depth goes back, and then there's nothing in the back of that area, just a big drop-off.
But it is an undersized lot.
What's that?
It is an undersized lot.
Yeah, it is, but it's a buildable lot. The village declares it a buildable lot.
It is buildable.
Yes.
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 It's a beautiful lot. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take down a bunch of trees. you
A few
know.
tree, we do, yeah,
Yeah.
but that backyard
More than,
is
more
gorgeous.
than a few,
Sitting
but
out
the
that
back is good. The
Yeah,
back is good.
we will, yeah, but I try to keep every tree I can, I'm
Yeah.
like a tree hugger.
So I have just a comment I wanted to make. The addresses and the square feet of the houses on the same side of the street as being proposed. I came up with the same amount that you did. There were 8 homes, and they were relatively, well, under 2,100 square feet. There was 18680, 18748, 18850, 18510, 18476, and 18408, as well as 18374. And these came from the auditor's office, Cuyahoga County website, averaging 1,761 feet. The ordinance that the village passed for 2,100 square feet was in 2009. So a lot of these homes were not built at 2009 and above. They were built well before that. So I can understand how it would fit nicely in the neighborhood because it's not going to be totally oversized.
Not setting a precedent.
It's not setting a precedent. No, not at all. Are there any others that want to speak or have any other comments from the board at this particular time?
Well, I think you just read, I read all that too, and I went back and looked. I always was negative for approving the first undersized or oversized.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
You throw it out?
yeah,
Yep.
but that's not the case here. Although half of the homes there were built before zoning,
Mm-hmm.
and half is relative number.
Mm-hmm.
I think it fits in. And I think that's what we need to look at. A question I have is how many more lots are there in the area?
I can answer that. None.
Was there one or none?
None.
None?
None. So we don't have.
That's
to
the
worry.
only buildable lot in that area. There may be one, if they consider half the lake, almost
Yeah.
to the western part of Orchard Hill Drive, closer to Walton Road. But other than that, there are no other lots in that area. It ends in a cul-de-sac on the eastern part. Those homes back up to homes that are on Barclay Estates. So it's a very secluded area, very nice neighborhood, a lot of nice people there. The home would fit right in with the current homes that are located in the area. Like I said, there was only 4 homes. There were 2 stories, so I can understand wanting a ranch. It would fit right in. My only concern is that we weren't given all the data, the correct data. And that's disturbing to me. It's required that it's properly laid out. We put the cart before the horse, it seems, okay?
Right.
And we need to have our building department have the exact things that they need so that they can evaluate it. Then they could go out and they can look, because it's been surveyed. We had the one situation where It was surveyed wrong, and we ended up having hearings and giving, making some changes. So that's my concern.
We could easily vote on the variance request with a contingency built into it. And the contingency be what Mr. Chubbuck did respond to, because we have that ability to do that, that the square footage would be in excess of 1720, let's say, or more.
Yeah.
And we could look at it from that respect.
But I think, when I look at it, it's not setting a precedent,
It's not. It's not setting any precedent in the neighborhood.
and that's, for me, through the years, that's been a big factor
Mhm.
on determining the vote.
Mhm.
And that's what I looked, when I went out and looked at the place, that's where I was and what I come up with.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to swing you guys, I'm just telling you where I'm at.
Okay. Okay. No, you're absolutely right. Just, just on that side of the street, there's 8 homes that are well under 2,100. Mr. Wayne?
Yeah, I would
Yes.
say, it's a good idea as far as, if you want to order an approval of it,
Yeah.
contingent on the fact that the house will be 1,700 square feet or above, and it will meet all the other requirements, the ordinance we have. And that way, you could, go forward with it,
Mhm.
if you show that I can do that.
Okay.
One question that I had was, how many small lots are there in that area?
There's none left.
This is the only small lot, I mean, even the ones that are already built.
Oh, from the lots that are built, I didn't look at the lots in the area to see if the homes were on, lots that were less than 44,000 square feet or 40,000 square feet. I didn't look at that. I just looked at the homes that were under 2,100. I didn't look at the lots.
Because that is a factor that we have to look at.
I think one of the things, Duke, is that it's 150 feet running east to west, okay? And that is, if it was 100 foot, 80 foot, or something like that, then that would be a big concern.
Mhm.
But there's going to be plenty of space between the property lines, okay? The depth is another thing. Like I said, there's nothing back there. It's unbuildable property. There's no way that anyone could, well, there's always a way.
There's always a way.
But there's no road back there. It butts up to a swamp area. There's a creek back there. So I have no problem with the size of the lot. As long as the village says it's buildable, that's good enough for me. But I don't have any problem with the size of the lot.
So, Mr. Chubbuck, is 45 feet to depth? Because
I don't have it memorized, but I believe it is.
Okay.
Oh, I gave you my, I believe it is 45 feet, yes.
And then across where you have that jog,
Mhm.
you're probably taking another, how many feet are you taking off that jog from the length?
From what's out there now with the tape, you mean?
Yeah, you have the little jog here, right? If you measured that up, I think it was like 100 and,
Probably I'm taking, from what's out there, probably taking 300 feet off or something like that.
Square feet?
200 square feet, yeah, somewhere in the neighborhood.
okay. So that's probably 15 or 20 feet length.
Correct,
Okay.
correct, yep.
If you took, say, 300 square feet off, you'd end up with 2,031 square feet. Less, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it would be.
Less than 300 is 17 and,
Yeah, so I mean, it's, I think it's gonna be more than 1,700.
yeah. Mhm.
Robert Russell commented again, there are only 7 non-conforming lots on that street. The setback sideline requirements will be maintained.
So there's 7 non-conforming lots on the street right now, Mr. Owens, there's 7 non-conforming lots with homes on them, on that street right now, according to Rob Russell.
Okay, I mean, it's a factor that's
Yeah.
entered in, and it's something that we have to address,
Mm-hmm.
because it is an undersized lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to build on an undersized lot, you gotta have a variance. That's where I'm at. I'm not anti or anything like that, it's just something that we gotta cover.
So we don't have that before us, so we're gonna add that in our vote.
Well, it's not legal, it's not a legal lot.
Well, what's code number on that, do you know? No?
I think it's been grandfathered. Okay, it's grandfathered as a buildable lot. I don't believe that's an issue, to be honest with you.
It is a beautiful lot.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I wish I had it and retire there and look out back every day. It's beautiful, it really is.
Yes, it is.
Front is level. No hills.
I'm surprised it was for sale.
We can add that into our
I
appeal.
think it's not an issue, but I think it's gotta be covered.
Okay, we'll cover that. Okay.
I mean, that's where I'm at with it. I mean, if we're crossing the Ts and dotting the Is, we gotta do that.
Okay, we'll do that. Is that okay with everybody else? Okay. Are there any other comments or any other additional testimony? We can get into the next part of the hearing now.
You can take a short recess, what do you think, or don't?
Let's just go right through it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. So a variance applies to the property and not to the people. Personal hardship is not grounds for granting a variance. Financial difficulties are not grounds for granting a variance. There are exceptions in some cases, or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in use. Variances are necessary for the preservation and the enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by other property owners in the same zoning district and in the vicinity. Granting such variance will not materially impair the purpose of the village ordinances or the public interest. We usually go through some comments on hardship. Hardship must relate to the physical character of the property. Hardship must be severe and unnecessary. Personal hardship is not grounds for granting a variance. Do we have anyone that wants to speak on hardship, or is there a hardship?
I don't see that hardship.
So we don't see a hardship. Special conditions? If special conditions are peculiar to the land, to the structure, or the building, and are not a result of the actions of the appellant, these facts should be considered when determining the variance. Special conditions?
Mr. Chairperson, I think there's a special condition because most of the homes on this street were built prior to the requirement for the 2,100 square feet for a ranch. So you have homes that are in the neighborhood that are consistent with the home that's being proposed here. So I think a special condition or consideration is that this home would look much nicer along this neighborhood than something that would be required pursuant to the requirements that would be necessary now. So I think it's a special consideration to keep the neighborhood in a certain character.
Thank you, Ms. Workman. It's very nice. It's very good. I think that's perfect. Appellant's rights, if peculiar or particular circumstances deprive the appellants of the rights possessed by other properties in the same zoning district, the facts need to be considered when we determine a variance. Mr. Owens, you have any comments on that?
Well,
Use
that's-
your mic, Duke. I got a comment to use your mic.
That's the factor that I've been talking about is the lot size and the square footage, that he should have the same rights as everybody else in that area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Practical difficulties. It was also mentioned, this property where the proposed home is to be built, there are many homes in the area of the proposed home to be built which are below 2,100 square feet. So I think that's a practical difficulty. And then our final comment is contingencies. When we grant a variance, sometimes we have to put them in when we have a variance. We may be able to impose a condition deemed to be necessary to carry out the intent of the applicable ordinance.
Mr. Chairperson, I think along with practical difficulties,
Mhm.
one of the things that is it'll be characteristic of the houses in the area, but as far as village services, I think village services as far as garbage, water service, sewer, none of those should really be affected by the size of the home.
Thank you.
Also to be noted, there are no fire hydrants on that property at all. There's no electrical boxes and things like this here, so it's a nice piece of land.
So the final comments here is the appellant is proposing to construct the new home within the minimum rear and side setbacks as well on an existing lot. Additionally, the ordinance restricts the total size of the home to be 2,100 square feet. And since the requested variance does arise from unique circumstances in the neighborhood, the ordinance would prevent the property owner from using the property for its permitted use. And before we get into the voting aspect of it, to make it clear to Mr. Owens' point, we have to make the record known that this is an undersized lot, and it's buildable. And the second part of the equation is the plans that we've got need to be regenerated, and the property, the buildable home, needs to be in excess of 1,720 square feet. And it must meet the other required ordinance statistics that we asked for. Before we get into the voting, Angela, are there any more comments?
There are no more comments on here. I just ask that when you vote, Wayne and Duke, if you can get a little closer to your mics for the vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Based on those areas, would somebody like to?
I have just one. I want to be assured that you're going to submit detailed plans to the building department.
Oh, very much so.
You're not going to take one shovelful of dirt from that area until it's been properly surveyed
You can't do
and
that.
approved by the building department.
Correct. Yeah, you
Okay.
cannot do that.
Yeah, it's been done in the past and it's caused a lot
Well,
of
the bank
problems,
comes out
okay?
and takes a picture before you start, and there's a
Yeah.
loan on it. and
Right, that's,
you can't- you
there's
shouldn't.
a procedure, but I just want assurances that
100%
this is going to be done properly.
properly. Always.
And
The
you'll
only way to
make
go.
every effort to have it exceed 1,700 square feet,
Yes, sir.
okay? Even considering not having that little jog, maybe?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have a little area cut out, maybe it could be used as a
Something,
something.
right.
You know, I don't know how much
Consider that.
additional cost it's going to, that it would cost. I don't
We could
know.
look at squaring it up or something like
Yeah.
that, if we could.
Okay,
Yes, but everything would be totally
Okay.
by the book.
so it would
The
be,
only way to do it,
it'd be no less than 1,700 square feet.
correct.
Is that what we're looking at?
It would no less than 1,720,
No less than
1,720 square feet.
Okay.
Because Mr. Chubbuck mentioned earlier, we were talking 1,624 on the plan, and he said we can exceed that. Or he could exceed that by at least 100 square feet. Is there someone that would like to?
Can I just
Make-
say one last thing?
Sure.
I mean,
Yes.
if I build a 2,100 square foot ranch out there, it would look like the Taj Mahal on that street. I mean, it really would. It would be so big.
No, see,
I don't
that,
think it would fit.
right, that's the point. the point is that what you have staked off there right now, the first time I saw it without measuring it, I said, that is perfect. It's going to fit in, plenty of side lot, so it doesn't infringe upon the property lines. Perfect. Now we're
Right.
finding out that it's going to be smaller.
Well, what we did out there was just something to
But I mean,
show
you see our point, though,
the homeowner
that
and
by going by those measurements that are out there, you don't need a variance.
by that.
By that. But now we're finding out that, no, it's gonna be smaller, so that's why I'm saying, we gotta have insurances that everything will be done properly and really coordinated with the building department.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Thank you. Is there a motion regarding the matter? Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the variance based on the two contingencies that we brought up?
I make a motion that we pass the variance as we brought up in the record.
Is there a second?
Second motion?
Okay, I think the motion should read that a variance to construct a home in excess of 1,720 square feet on a lot that is less than 40,000 square feet be approved.
Okay,
Does that sound all right? I mean, it
that's what I
covers-
had in mind. Yeah,
Okay.
basically what we want to do is, a motion's been made that we would like to vote on the variance to construct the home, which would be in excess of 1,720 square feet on a undersized lot that is less than 40,000 square feet. The motion was made by Mr. Owens and it was seconded by Mr. Johansson. Vote on the motion. Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Ms. Workman?
Yes.
Mr. Johansson?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The variance is approved by the board. It shall be valid for 90 calendar days after the date of this hearing.
Okay.
Failure of the appellant to apply for the necessary permits within this time period shall invalidate the board's ruling.
Thank you, board.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And good luck with the construction.
Thank you very much.
And
Appreciate
as
it.
soon as you can come up to Village Hall or talk to Rob about
Oh, yeah.
presenting the new plans.
I'll submit new plans.
We don't want you, Mr. Owens?
I make a motion we adjourn.
Mr. Owens made a motion, we adjourn, is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Ms. Workman. Vote on the motion, Mr. Pollak,
Yes.
Mr. Owens,
Yes.
Ms. Workman,
Yes.
Mr. Johansson,
Yes.
and I vote yes. This hearing is adjourned at 6:45 PM.
Thank you again. Appreciate it very much.
Nice meeting you.